Today what I want to talk about is a way to keep your sneakers smelling fresh. It sounds like it might be a little bit of a frivolous thing in terms of running shoes and the amount of sweating that we all do as runners to try and keep things fresh. But it's definitely something if you have to live with another person. I live with 3 women, my 2 daughters and my wife, and they are very attuned to smells. I think as a general rule, women tend to have better senses of smell than men, and my daughter especially, I really think she might be a sommelier when she grows up because she has an uncanny ability to pick out odors and flavors. So like trying to hide stuff in her food, like vegetable wise, is just about impossible. But one of the things that I've been kind of doing 2 things in order to keep smells to a minimum in our house. One is I've been using sneaker balls. I kind of throw them into the inside of your shoe after a run. So as it dries, and the sweat is like evaporating out after a run, the odor can kind of permeate. And the other thing that I do is I use like a sport special like detergent, nothing special, but like you normally use like Tide. It has Febreze in it. It smells really floral. What I end up getting with the sneaker balls anyway, this is something that I've been using since the early 90s. Not this one, but this technology is something I've been using since the early 90s. And it does a decent job. It ends up making your shoes smell a little bit like sweat and a little bit like air freshener. So it's okay, but it doesn't really solve the job. And with the clothes, everything ends up kind of smelling a little bit floral and perfumed. And also sometimes it leaves a little bit of like a residue in the clothes, which I don't like. So I was really happy when a company called OdorKlenz, with a K and a Z, contacted me and asked me if I wanted to do a video about them. Full disclosure, this is a sponsor post. Thank you to OdorKlenz for making this video possible. They are also providing some product for me to test. The caveat though is the only way that I would work with them, and the only way I work with anyone, is if you want a review of a product, I'll be happy to do it. But I'm not going to change it, edit it, or alter it in any way after I shoot it and put my initial thoughts in there. And I've given them the ability to either say yay or nay on the video, and that's up to them. So if you're seeing this, they've seen it, they've approved it, but they have not had any editorial control whatsoever. So getting on with it, to the video. 2 of the things that they sent me, one is this powder, and it works a little bit like a spray-on kind of thing, like almost like a rosin bag. They have a rosin bag for bigger products, but the way this works is you open up the top and then you kind of sprinkle the stuff on all your stinky stuff. I put it on 2 pairs of shoes, the Nike Epic React Flyknit, which I just got to 270 miles, and I'm closing that out, and also the Zoomfly SPs, and those are not at end of life. There's only like 120 miles on them or so, but I don't really see myself running them anymore, so I was okay if this product ended up completely ruining the shoe because both those shoes are at end of life for me. Spoiler alert, they don't end up ruining the shoe. It reminded me a lot of what I used to do in high school and college with my track spikes. With those, you want to kind of do something right away with those kinds of things and reduce odors, because you're going to put your track spikes in a bag and then you're going to be on the team bus, sometimes for hours getting from a track meet and back, and so you want to take care of your business. And so we used to put baby powder or Gold Bond, just spray it all over our shoes to try and kind of like absorb any wetness and mask or get rid of any stinkiness. And this kind of works the same way. It's a little bit messy. The powder, it's very like fine, and so like as soon as it like you squeeze a little bit or put a little air in it, it just gets everywhere, which is pretty good because you want it to get everywhere in terms of getting it on your shoes. But I also got it kind of on the table, on the camera, and everywhere. I wish there was a little bit like of a more of a shaker, so that way I could, like the top of a Gold Bond powder bottle, so that way I could get it more evenly distributed, because I definitely felt like there were certain spots where I had like chunks, not chunks, but like more densely caked on stuff, and then other parts where I wanted to kind of like spread it around and get it more evenly distributed. But once you did get everything on, it was amazing. So my Epic React were at 270 miles. Those were not the most fragrant shoes I had, but they weren't the worst offenders. It was these Zoomfly SPs. These are the stinkiest shoes. I don't know if it's this material, or I don't know if it's just the time of year that I ran in these. This is like the height of the stinkiest part of the summer where I was running in these. These were just absolutely foul. Here's what the shoes look like now. So you can still see that for the Epic React Flyknit, there's still a lot of that powder that's kind of still on there. So if that's something that's really going to bother you, then maybe this product isn't for you. But I think that once I run in this and get a little bit of miles on there and a little bit of heat from the foot, I think the powder will pretty much all go away. So I'm not too concerned about that. But it's amazing. And even on the Zoomfly SP, you could see I put it all over this shoe, or maybe you can't see that I put it all over this shoe since this is a white shoe, but it smells like nothing. It just smells like a shoe. Like in a good way. It just smells like the insole. It smells like when you first get shoes before anyone puts their feet in them. And it's just amazing. And this is overnight. This is kind of what it looks like. But I did that and instantly there was just, the smell was gone. They have quite a bit of technology that you can read up about on the website if you're curious as to what it is. It's not an odor masking agent. It's like it neutralizes the odor somehow. There's something going on the molecular level that traps the odor causing molecules and renders them, I guess, inert. And so you could just take in a deep breath and you'll be fine. Don't do that with your other ones. I kept this one untreated as kind of a control and the other ones as my experiment. So that worked out really well. I was super surprised about that. The two drawbacks being, I wish that the way to sprinkle it on was a little bit more evenly distributed. And I do think that it's a little bit of an issue that like my black shoes are gonna look powdered. And so I'm not a huge fan of that. But again, they're your running shoes. You're gonna run in them. So it's fine. The other thing that they sent me was an add-in that you can put into your laundry detergent. Now I mentioned earlier that I normally use like a Tide Sport or something along those lines. I have a second detergent that I use for that. And I don't like it because it has all those dyes and stuff. My daughter, the one whose nose is super sensitive, also has eczema. And so we tried to use things that are not dyed or perfumed. Everything in our house is kind of fragrance free to the extent that we can do that. So I always have to wash all my stuff separately, and I probably still will because my stuff's extra stinky. But what I can then do is use the same detergent that we're already buying that we like. It's fragrance free, it has less harsh chemicals in it, and it still works. But compared to like a sweaty pair of running shorts, I always felt like I needed a little something extra. And even back when I was training for a marathon in 2010, and shortly after that, I found that I was getting rid of clothes because even after I washed them, they still kind of stink. And so that's when I started the last couple of years switching over to like a perfumed laundry detergent. This instead, you add it into the detergent that you already have. So I did that with a test batch of laundry, all my stinky clothes from this week. Here is a pair of my oldest running shorts. I've had these for almost 10 years now. And they just smell like clothes. It's just, there's nothing there. It doesn't smell like the lavender that I had in the Tide Sport or whatever that flowery smell was. And it just, it doesn't smell like anything. And so if that's something that you're interested, I highly recommend it. I didn't think I was nervous making this video because I didn't think that I was gonna like this product as much as I do, especially this powder. The other thing that they make for the powder is like a rosin bag, which I'm probably gonna pick up one of those because I think that you can like tap it and have the powder just kind of sprinkle and fall on stuff a little bit more easier, like I was talking about, like avoids I think some of the problems that this thing has. And so that's something I might do, or maybe you can just stick the rosin bag even in something kind of like a sneaker ball. So I kind of like that idea too. So that's something that I'll be checking out next. But stuff like my running gloves, I have like running gloves, thinner ones that I put in the wash, but I also have super thick ones. There's a pair of mittens that my mother-in-law got for me last year that have been amazing. They're deer skin, I think, with wool on the inside, and I just would never imagine washing that thing. But I'm gonna start putting powder in there after some runs just to make sure everything stays fresh. And so those are the kinds of things. I think they talk about using it for like shin guards and football pads and helmets. So the last thing I want to talk about today is a charity runner for the day. Every day I pick a different charity runner. I give them $5 and then I talk about their charity fundraising efforts. Today's charity runner is Connor. He's going to be running the Brighton Marathon in 2019. He's running for the RSPCA that helps animals over there in England. His fundraising page even has him holding an animal, and so very fitting. Good luck to Connor in Brighton in 2019, and I hope that you will consider donating to his fundraising page and help his fundraising efforts. That's all I have for today's video, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?